different decks, and it looks pretty good.
All right, we're going to head on down into our feature match area for our first match of round the second. We've got our previous open winner, I believe, is Aratoria here on the bottom. Or on the left right now. They'll be on the bottom in a moment. We got, it looks like Jund mid range versus a Bant Planeswalker deck. It's a little Otha Tef reaction going on.
Yeah, this is.
Let's get that one up on screen for folks here. Let you double activate your Planeswalkers.
Oh, all right, and we're off.
See, kind of the staple of historic / magic right now. We have kind of an aggressive deck on the bottom of our screen here for our Jund player versus the growth spiral deck on top.
Yeah, growth spiral. Just how much longer do we have to deal with that card?
It's,
Forever.
you know, I'm normally a pretty big fan of Magic's on-rotating formats as the focus on historic here shows, but I'm definitely looking forward to having a standard in the fall where some of these things aren't present anymore.
Just a casual 5 lands out already.
We have Drana Liberator of Melkir here on the bottom, a jumpstart card in our Jund player's deck. Quite fantastic aggressive tool, honestly. Flying and first strike when she deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter each attacking creature you control. So the first strike, very important on Drana because it enables her to make your other things bigger.
Yeah, pumps up everything before the second damage basically happens. Yep. It's definitely really good.
And huge miss here for our bottom player. We see those questing beasts sitting in our Jund player's hand, with their 3-color mana base coming back to bite them a little bit here. If they would have stuck their second green source, Drana plus questing beast would have killed this Teferi. But the fact that they
can still thrash threat this though, right? If they want to.
We can take the Teferi off the table at least, but this does mean that, like, you know, they didn't advance their board more while doing it. Oh, we had a bounty counter from Shev. Do you know the text on that card, Matthew?
Yeah, it has a lot of text. I don't know it exactly, but yeah, drawing extra cards is always great.
Yep. I'm actually very interested to see what the Bant archetypes look like in this tournament. So for people that are just dropping in, all the decks in this tournament are historic legal. However, in addition to everything being historic legal, we've also house ruled banned Teferi the Time Raveler because the subscribers here in Hoaglandia almost unanimously agreed that card is miserable and they didn't want to play with or against it.
Yeah, so this particular Bant control deck has 9 Planeswalkers. And also, like, to help against, like, the more aggressive things that, like, maybe kind of like this deck, has 3 Thragtusk in the main as well.
Okay, yep. See, still struggling here at the bottom. We see that Questing Beast pop up there in hand a little bit. Maybe we'll see a draw with the Spellmire Knight to try and hit that green source.
Yeah, definitely probably where I would start out here.
We're thinking about just playing it out? No, yeah, say we want to draw.
Gotta draw.
We see Heroic Intervention in the hand, M21 card, but notably not super useful against Eugene the Exile Dragon.
Yeah, gonna need this green source off the top.
Nailed it, Matthew. This was it. You saw them. They knew on the bottom there. This was their chance.
I mean, had to be there, or else the game was probably pretty close.
Correct. We were going to 100% garbage time if that green source didn't come rolling off. That being said, you know, our Jund player does not have this game on lock by any means. Like, hitting that source just means they get to continue playing.
Yep. This Uro is a lot less good against, like, double Deathtouch creature. So I mean, this is pretty good for the Jund player on the bottom there. Although Shatter is quite annoying. We'll say that. Right? Lands?
Now, Shatter with Heroic Intervention is, something, because Heroic Intervention will save the Jund player's board, but still let them draw a card with the Shatter.
Right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Now, that being said, if you're if you're Tobias, you kind of know something is up when your opponent doesn't play the Fallmire Knight, right?
Yeah, and you know what's kind of funny is this Jund aggro deck. You know, again, open deck list. There's like one heroic intervention in the entire Jund aggro deck.
And we see the Jund player put the shields down here, which is going to leave them exposed to the sweeper.
Yep.
That being said, in a way, the sweeper happening before you questing beast also is like kind of fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine. That's not though.
We see a Hero of Dominaria come off the Narset trigger here for our Bant player, and they're being swayed into a false sense of security here a little bit.
Yeah, this is definitely a riskier line to expose that again to another questing beast. I mean, there's 4 of in the Jund deck too, so there's a bunch of them going on. A lot of lands out there.
Yep. So trying to decide where they want to put this 1/1 counter for Shev, putting it on the Teferi. Now the Narset is going to lock them out of being able to draw extra cards this turn, so they will need to take that off the table if they want to be able to draw a card. It looks like they're going to have enough power to do that though, right? Oh wow, we're attacking everything. Sure. Okay. I think this is a bit of a mistake on our Jund player's part. I think if I was them, I would kill the Narset so I could draw a card.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to. Doesn't change your clock at all.
There's the fun of main deck heroic intervention here. Locking that board in and keeping it safe.
It's a bad baby.
Okay, we've got Uro coming back though. The game is not over just yet.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see if there's any ways to get this off the table. Doesn't think there's any removal spells.
Yep. And notably, some folks commenting in chat, like, the cards like Heroic Intervention, much better in this tournament than they normally would be against a blue-white deck because there's no Teferi Time Raveler hanging out to make that a dead draw. Oh, been there, done that. Again, the punishment literally did that on stream yesterday. Tried to draw a card while Narset was in play.
Static text on Planeswalkers is really fun.
So this Narset now costing our Jund player. This is their 3rd card that they've missed drawing now when this Shev gets missed here. Yep. You're still in a pretty good spot as the Jund player here. The Uro, I believe Tobias's graveyard does not have enough tools to escape, and they'll be able to draw with Castle here in a second. Conqueror's Death coming down and not having anything to do.
Yep. This one's going to be tight, though. Because, Uro, I think it might be able to be down next turn.
Less tight, Matthew.
Never mind.
Questerson here coming off the top for our Jund Deathtouch deck.
That card swing sinks. If I'm going to play against 9 Planeswalkers, I think if I draw 3 Questing Beasts, I'm probably pretty happy.
You're not wrong. Listen, Matt, you put them in your deck to draw them, okay?
All right. Yeah, they got a lot of good tools here too for the post board games as well on that Jund side.
See, interesting. We see a couple copies of Discontinuity in the Bant sideboard.
Yeah, I don't know what that's for necessarily.
We see a couple cheeky copies of Banefire coming in for our Jund player as a good way to blow out the control deck in the mid to late game if they don't clean things up. This is definitely a card that can finish up in a post Ugin sweep world.
They have a lot of nice ones. They have Sorcerer Spyglass, Banefire. They have discard spells with Agonizing Remorse, and they have Shifting Ceratops, which is, pretty good as well. So.
Yeah, and another thing that's just incidentally better in a world without Teferi Time Raveler is Sorcerer Spyglass is a much more reasonable answer to a card like Ugin the Spirit Dragon, right? Because you don't have to worry about their 3-mana Planeswalker, setting it off the board and then wiping the rest of your board.
Exactly. You get to play permanent-based hate. It's really nice.
Yep. Awkward starts for both players here. Not a fantastic 6 on either side, but I agree with both the keeps, I think.
Yeah, it's not the best. We watched someone beat an Ugin today. That was on my bingo card, actually. Beating resolved Ugin is definitely on my bingo card.
Okay.
So that's a tough one to beat.
Chev here, ready to go on an adventure. See that white source coming off the top for Tobias. They definitely needed that. This discard spell is going to be very sad. You're going to look and see double Teferi and just be like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, this is rough. 3 planeswalkers. Pick your favorite.
It's just Ugin, right? You just like one of these things is not like the others.
It has to be.
Like the Ugin's further off, but it's eventually going to mess you up.
It's difficult. Planeswalkers in general are tough, and when your opponent has 3 and you have 1 power in play, not the best.
Yep. See, Teferi here of Dominaria getting to start ticking up and draw some extra cards. Really hoping to draw sweepers and interaction if you're on the Tobias side of the board.
Questing Beast, anyone?
Questing Beast was what we were hoping to draw there. Banefire without red mana, not super exciting. Only 2 power here on the Jund player side of the board, going to be fighting an uphill battle against this Planeswalker that's gaining 1 every turn.
Yeah.
Is there a shatter in the sky, Matthew?
Oh, I think we've hit the 100% plateau again here.
You think so? You think you're ready to call it this early?
Going to be a 22 here with a shatter and upswinging. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, that's probably fair. I don't know. I think Questerson could come off and get Shatter of the Sky, right? So you're super excited if you're our Jund player here. This Banefire gets to kill the Teferi, and then you do get to draw a card here as well, right?
Yep.
So Chev's got a token on there. So this is maybe your route to start catching back up here.
The crappy thing is, there's another Tef hanging out. Just like you killed
Correct.
one.
At a minimum, there's another Time Raveler or Hero Dominaria. Sorry.
Yeah. You get the fist pump for like a half a second. Like, yeah, I killed the Planeswalker. That's destroying me. And then they're like, you know what? Actually, I don't need that Tef. I'm going to use the other Teferi in my hand. It's totally fine.
Yep. Teferi, what is he? Is that Master of Time?
That's fine.
Get him on up here for people that maybe haven't been playing too much Magic since 721. So this Planeswalker notably activates every single turn. So they can use this Teferi on the Jund player's turn as well. So effectively draws 2, discards 2 over a turn cycle.
I love it. Really wonderful cards. My disdain for Planeswalkers will never end. And especially once you get to activate, multiple times.
Keyword on Teferi Master of Time that's worth pointing out for people that haven't seen it before is phasing. So phasing, I think the best way I heard it described was, imagine your card is sitting on the table, you just put a coffee cup over it. You just pretend that it's not there for 1 whole turn cycle, then it comes back with all of its counters and everything like that.
Hey,
gosh, Thragtusk is really good with Shatter, huh? You get to draw a card.
Yeah, and you get to make a token. That's so nice. All right, man.
So you're super far behind if you're on the bottom. However, we do in the mana base have Castle Locthwain hanging out. So, an okay string of luck on the bottom versus some bricks on the top could get the Jund player back in the game. However, when you're looting every single turn, it's much more difficult for you to be bricking off.
I guess I'll discard a Shatter in the Sky. That seems beatable. When your opponent discards the Shatter. This is a really nice synergy too. You get to see with Teferi Master of Time looting plus Uro is a nice synergy.
Yep. Yeah, basically getting 2 free cards per turn cycle towards escaping your Uro. And Uro plus Teferi here, those are going to be standard legal until 2021, Matthew. End of 2021.
This game is a beating. Yeah, I'm real excited about that. Thanks for bringing it up again.
I do what I can, Matthew.
Really fantastic. Very exciting.
Interesting to see the bounty counter go on the Teferi there as opposed to the Uro. Because the Uro is more likely to die than the Planeswalker, I feel here.
I mean, yeah.
Wonder if we'll see the castle draw another card here pre-combat. Yeah, makes a little sense.
They just don't have a lot of.
Right. And they're going to go ahead and say, hey, they're going to agree with Matthew. We're pretty close to 100-0. Going to go back to the drawing board here and see if we can take a game on the play. Interesting that there are two shifting Ceratops in the sideboard for our Jund player here that didn't come in. And we also see Gonti in the sideboard as well. It feels a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, those ones stick out like sore thumbs to me too. The shifting Ceratops almost certainly.
Especially, yeah. Yeah, I think Gonti's good too. You know, like randomly grabbing your opponent's Ugin in the late game or their Teferi or something like that. Like your card advantage and your haste both seem very good. These 1/1 Death Touchers for 1 at the bottom end of the curve, especially the one without the adventure spell, feel like they're very replacement level to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. I thought about Assassin's Trophy too. That's an interesting one. Again, I don't know, like maybe get a colored source that they need, but I mean, you gotta get these planeswalkers out of there though.
Yep. Interesting too, this kind of Jund aggressive mid-range deck. Not a lot of discard spells that are either. Usually we see like Agonizing Remorse or Duress to help in these control matchups, and those are not present here.
And just two Agonizing Remorse. We saw Murderous Rider in the last game too. I was wondering if they had Murderous Riders in game one, and they never had. They're not even in their 75. So
yep, yeah, real interesting Jund build.
This
we have
that's Bant deck.
Here's growth spot. You ready to go on and explore? You ready to explore, Matthew?
That keep is such like an indication of what Magic is in 2020. It was 5 lands. It was 4 lands. Double ramp spell Ugin. All right, snap it off.
Yep. You know, it's funny. Someone else mentioned this on stream the other day, but the templating difference on Explore versus Growth Spiral, especially if you're someone who's played an arena, it catches you because, like with Growth Spiral, when the spell finishes resolving, if the land isn't into play, they've missed. But with Explorer, they could still have one. So you have that moment of, oh, did they miss? And then the land comes in and you're like, no, they ramped.
Oh, man, this one is another one of those, like...
How do you feel about Ugin versus Ura there?
Yeah, I think you have to take Ugin, but I mean... leaving Uro in hand is just such a terrible feeling, too, though.
Yep. Yeah, like there's this Fabled Passage, there's the Growth Spiral, there's the Explorer already in the bin. There's another Fabled Passage off the top here. Feels like the window's going to close very quickly on our Jund player here.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like they were going to get to Ugin probably the next turn if you didn't take it. So I mean, you have to snag it, but what are you going to do?
All right, we have our colors. Questerson's going to get to bring the beatdowns here, attacking for 6.
Yeah, I mean, Artorias has great cards. There's Questing Beast, and then Questing Beast's brother, Shifting Ceratops, and then Heroic Intervention to, possibly hold up for Sweeper Effect, but got to get through Thragtusk and Uro.
The Heroic Intervention, while you're playing it, generally speaking, to counter Shatter, it can let you punch through their creatures too, right? So I would not be surprised to see like Heroic Intervention trade for Thragtusk as Frontier, essentially.
Yeah, it's a fine combat trick to get through. It just depends how much you want to commit to be dead to a Shadow this guy, I guess. That's rough.
Yep. And we see that sequence here. I think I like this. I think you're just like hoping they don't have it. Although at the same time, you also know that they have 2 Fabled Passages, a Growth Spiral, and Explorer, now Thragtusk in their bin. So Uro's gonna get to and another Swag Dad off the top.
Man, how do you beat these guys?
Little bit of missequencing here on our Bant player's part. I believe if they would have played Plains, they could have escaped Uro and then also played Thragtusk this turn if they would have put the land into play untapped. I don't know that it's really going to matter, but I think we could have had an Uro in play here.
These are easy blocks to set up.
Notable that we see the Shifting Ceratops get killed there because Ceratops notably has protection from blue, which Uro cannot block.
Yep. Man, this is so tough. I mean, and the Jund players attacked a lot this game, almost every turn, and the Bant players just did 20.
Yep. We see Oath of Teferi coming down for no value on the blink, because obviously if you blink your Uro will die afterwards, but, just getting set up for if they draw a Planeswalker in the future. I expect we'll just see a pass here. Domri Chaosbringer is a, as far as better draws go for the Jund player, I think that's towards the top. And speaking of better draws,
Man.
Teferi took an oath to put this Jund player in the ground, Matthew,
Gosh.
and I think he's going to stand up to his oath.
Holy crap.
So if you're our Bant player up top, you're going to get to untap 4 green sources here. So Scavenging Ooze is just going to get to go to town. He's a hungry boy, Matthew.
Such a pounding. Yeah. That was a nice sequence of draws there. Let's see how many of those are in this deck. 4 Scavenging Ooze in the sideboard. Okie doke.
Blightfang.
Yeah, Hooded Blackfang is...
There's a card. Whenever a creature you control with Deathtouch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker.
Yeah.
If only we could attack that Planeswalker, huh?
Just never.
Yep. So, Hooded Blightfang, kind of the payoff for being in this Deathtouch sub-theme in our Jund player on the bottom.
Yep. It's an interesting deck list overall. It's got a lot of cool stuff going on, but
yep.
Deck.
Just the power of Uro and these 4-mana sweepers and things like Ugin just really kind of overpower these more fair mid-rangey type strategies.
Eating opponent's graveyard instead of more creatures.
Hey Matthew, did you know with Oath of Teferi Master of Time gets to activate 4 times per turn cycle?
Yeah, it's this one is
It's
close game, honestly.
So like if you're on the top here, do you just like shatter to assert dominance? Probably not, because there's a questing beast face up.
Fine. Let him have it. So stupid. Mercy.
It's funny, as someone who's a big fan of Restoration Angel, I wanted that card in a historic anthology at one point with Swag Dad in the format. I'm not really sure that that's something I want anymore.
Fired. You're fired.
Okay, that's a very good draw. So we get to attack everything at Hero of Dominaria.
The problem is that, like, the Bant players at 21 though. That's
yeah. You're not wrong. Really weird split of attacks here for our bottom player. I feel like that Teferi's on 8, right? That thing's about to ultimate the Hero of Dominaria.
I don't know, like they can block everything in my opinion here.
So like sure, heroic intervention happens, but our Bant player is going to get to ultimate Hero of Dominaria, and then they're going to get to plus it, then ultimate and keep it, then double loot with the other one and start exiling things.
And they get to kill all your stuff too.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Like
you didn't know they had a shatter, but
if we weren't in garbage time before, we definitely are now. So yeah, they get to shatter, and then they get to start drawing and exiling lands and planeswalkers and all. Oh look, another Hero of Dominaria.
Lord.
Sick. Okay, so we're just not even shattering. We're just like, all right, we're just gonna just Teferi exile the board.
Yeah,
the world's our oyster.
Exile everything.
We have an Uro in hand that can cantrip and exile some stuff as well. A good game from our Jund player at the bottom. I think that's a reasonable assessment of what's going on here. Because remember, our Bant player is going to get to loot twice more.
Adding done 6 lands
on the Jund player's turn. Yeah, so they just have like 2 instant speed. Oh, they actually get to ultimate the Teferi up top here too.
Yeah, it's a close game. Really close stuff. It's so dumb. mercy.
Take 2 extra turns after this one. Hey, I haven't seen that animation before. This garbage time wasn't a total waste.
Yeah, you got to actually see the clock
I got to
where it
see
shows
Teferi
garbage
spin his
time.
clock. Oh, yeah. This board definitely needed a Ugin.
Oh god. Well,
Hey, Ugin at least is a merciful god and is going to deal 6 damage per
yes,
turn, right?
yes. Ugin actually ends the game. Ugin ends the game. Yeah, it's really great, fantastic.
Well, I'm going to have to deduct style points from our Bant player here because they had the option to ultimate their Ugin, and instead they -3'd first, so they declined the ability to draw 7 cards there. And I just want you to know, Tobias, if you're out there, I'm incredibly disappointed right now that
Yeah.
you had the option to draw 7 cards and you declined. So
All right.
pretty dominant showing there for our Bant player, even without the namesake prison planeswalker that these decks have been playing for the last year and a half.
Yeah, this one with the addition of Teferi 3, I don't know. That's going to be pretty tough sell for me to try and play anything besides something like that. Honestly, that was nuts.
Okay, we have our